Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel The War Diary. Please subscribe and like my videos because today we are diving into one of the most dramatic and intense updates from the ongoing conflict, the shocking event when 93 Ukrainian drones stormed Moscow all at once, turning the city into what many eyewitnesses are now calling a living hell. This is not just another attack, not just another strike. This is a story of strategy, technology, psychological warfare, and the ever-shifting balance of power in this conflict. And in this deep review, we are going to break it down as if we are examining a new and complex machine, looking at the exterior, the interior, the performance, the safety features, the unique selling points, and even the cost of such an operation. Stay with me until the end because the conclusion may leave you with questions about the future of this war, and whether this kind of attack will reshape the way nations prepare for defense in the modern world. When these 93 drones appeared on Moscow's skyline almost simultaneously, people first thought it was some kind of air show or military parade practice. The sheer number was overwhelming. The exterior of this event was terrifying to behold. Small dark silhouettes moving in unison like a swarm of insects, yet each carrying destructive potential. From the outside perspective, what struck many was the scale, the coordination, and the visual of Moscow, one of the most secure and heavily defended capitals on Earth, suddenly being covered by buzzing machines that looked fragile but represented deadly intent. The way the city's skyline lit up with anti-aircraft defenses, with flashes of explosions in the sky and smoke trailing from intercepted drones, was the kind of apocalyptic imagery people normally see in movies, not in real life. But while the outside view was chaos, what made this operation remarkable was its interior, and this is where we dive deeper. Inside this assault, within the architecture of planning, was a demonstration of Ukraine's evolving military intelligence and technological adaptation. The big interior lesson is how Ukraine has managed to integrate cheap, expendable drones with sophisticated guidance systems, GPS-based navigation, and even possible AI-assisted swarm behavior. To launch 93 drones is not simply a matter of pressing buttons. It requires enormous logistical preparation, coordination of take-off points, ensuring the drones do not collide with one another, and programming them in such a way that they arrive almost simultaneously to maximize confusion. This interior reveals a new doctrine in warfare, the mass deployment of relatively low-cost drones to overwhelm high-cost defense systems. It is David versus Goliath, not just with one stone, but with 93 stones flying at once. The interior aspect also highlights the role of secrecy, intelligence networks, and psychological timing. Reports suggest that the drones were launched in waves from multiple locations, including deep inside Ukraine's territory and possibly from forward operating positions. Each drone carried only a small explosive payload, yet collectively they created panic, disruption, and forced Russia to use millions of dollars worth of air defense systems to intercept them. Inside this story, we also see the adaptability of Ukrainian engineers who have turned commercial-grade drones into tactical weapons capable of evading radar by flying low, hugging terrain, and sometimes even mimicking civilian aircraft patterns. The interior narrative is not just about technology, it is about resilience, creativity, and determination. Now, when we talk about performance, this strike can be considered a milestone. Out of the 93 drones, Russian officials claim most were intercepted, while others hit non-critical infrastructure. But the raw performance metrics go beyond simple destruction. The performance lies in how long Moscow was under siege, how many air defenses had to be activated, how many residents were forced into shelters, and how much disruption was caused in daily life. Performance here is psychological as well as physical. Imagine living in a city where sirens blare, the night sky is filled with explosions, and you suddenly realize your government cannot guarantee total safety. Performance also lies in resource drain. Russia's S-400 and Pantsir air defense systems, which cost millions of dollars per missile fired, were forced to neutralize drones that cost perhaps a few $1,000s each. The economics of performance tilt heavily in Ukraine's favor, because even if the drones were all destroyed, the cost-to-cost ratio was a victory. The performance rating of this ambush is high not only because of the damage inflicted, but because of the strategic message it sent, that even the most fortified capital is vulnerable. Speaking of safety features, it may sound ironic, but every military operation includes mechanisms of safety for those launching it. for their allies and sometimes even to limit civilian harm. Ukraine has consistently tried to target military or infrastructure objectives rather than civilian housing. The safety feature here was the precision programming of drones to avoid unnecessary human casualties while still maximizing pressure. Another layer of safety exists within the drones themselves. They are small, relatively difficult to detect until close, and they can be programmed to self-destruct if captured. Their size means they cannot carry massive warheads, which in a strange way prevents total devastation but increases targeted disruption. On the Russian side, safety features were tested to their limits. Air defense sirens, underground metro stations used as shelters, and emergency communication systems all came into play. For Muscovites, these safety features were suddenly very real, not theoretical. The city's emergency infrastructure was pushed into overdrive, and this exposed weaknesses in how fast civilians could respond. So the safety features in this story were not just technological, they were social. Now let's discuss the unique selling points of this operation, the aspects that make it stand out. The first unique point is sheer scale. Never before in this conflict has Moscow been attacked by nearly 100 drones at once. The second is psychological reach. For months, Russians were told that Moscow is untouchable, that their air defenses are impenetrable. This attack shattered that illusion. The third unique selling point is the economics of asymmetry, cheap drones forcing expensive defenses. Fourth, the symbolism. Ukraine showed not only that it could strike Moscow, but that it could do so in a way that made global headlines, shifting the narrative of who has the initiative. Another unique feature is adaptability. This operation demonstrated how Ukraine is learning and scaling drone warfare faster than many military analysts predicted. Each of these points makes the event historic, not just another battle report. On the subject of price, it is almost shocking to compare. A drone may cost anywhere between a few thousand to tens of thousands of dollars depending on modifications. 3 drones might represent a few $1,000,000 in total. Meanwhile, Russia's defense interceptors, missiles, radar activations, manpower could easily surpass tens or even hundreds of millions in one night. The price of panic, disruption, and global perception is incalculable. Economically, this operation was efficient for Ukraine and costly for Russia. Politically, the price is even greater. The Kremlin must now spend more resources fortifying Moscow, diverting funds and attention away from frontline operations. And socially, the price is the loss of confidence among ordinary Russians who thought their capital was beyond reach. Finally, we arrive at the conclusion: what does all of this mean? The ambush of 93 Ukrainian drones over Moscow is not just a single event, it is a preview of the future of warfare. We are entering an era where swarms of small, inexpensive, and hard-to-detect drones can challenge even the most powerful militaries. It means that no city is completely safe, no matter how fortified. It shows the importance of adaptability in conflict. The side that innovates faster gains the edge. For Russia, it is a warning that its capital can be penetrated again. For Ukraine, it is proof that persistence and creativity can turn the tide. For the world, it is a lesson in the changing economics of war. And for the people of Moscow, it was a terrifying night that reminded them that this war is not distant, but at their doorstep. This concludes today's deep dive. Remember, this channel, The War Diary, is where we analyze the real stories of conflict with a critical eye. So please subscribe, like, and share this video so we can continue bringing you honest breakdowns of the events shaping our world. Stay safe, stay informed, and see you in the next update.